So just to make you, feel a little old right now, can you believe that it's going to be 6 years since the launch of the first iPad? Next week it's going to be 6 years since the iPad first launched. And time flies, right? And when it launched, one of the big things and one of the big audiences that the iPad was designed for, in fact, was a category that had never been catered to before, and that was kids. Really, really young kids. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen videos of kids 2 months, 3 months old, swiping on their little iPads, right? And in some ways, just think about it. I mean, that's the first time we've got a computing device that kids in elementary school and below can actually use. And so this started off with great promise that, this was going to change how education was going to be delivered and, education was going to work. If you fast forward 6 years later, which is today, what's happened though is that some of that promise has faded because the iPad has essentially become a child's personal entertainment device. There's a ton of iPads. 2 out of 3 American families own an iPad or a tablet. 1 out of 3 kids have their own tablet, right? And yet, most of that time, almost 2 hours a day on average, is consumed doing passive entertainment. And it's not that there aren't enough education apps. There's tens of thousands of math apps, reading apps out there. The trouble is, no one's figured out how to make a math app that can be more fun than Netflix. And any app that says that they're fun and interactive, and they're somehow going to be so fun and so interactive that kids are going to do math instead of Netflix, those apps are lying, right? So something like math's going to be taken as a prescription, and it's like gummy bear, vitamins, right? So that's the closest analogy that you can get to. And so the reality is that there's a ton of math apps, there's a ton of reading apps, but most of these apps never get used more than the one time after they're downloaded. And I'm talking about kids that are from the ages of 5 to 11, elementary school and below. And we know this. We've all read. If we've passed through an airport, we've read, Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers, and we know that, 15 minutes of math or reading can make a big difference. It's got to be deliberate. It's got to be regular. Practice adds up. But it's like saying if you eat broccoli every day, you're going to be healthy, right? It's prescriptions are cheap and hard to follow. Science backs it up. I think a lot of things add up really quick. The parent's anxiety makes a difference. If the parent is anxious at home in terms of what they think about math, the child ends up being math anxious. Practice adds up. So a lot of these things add up. I think everyone knows this, just like everyone knows that broccoli is good for you, right? We all know that. So the big question therefore is, from a parent point of view, is how do we get kids to do 15 minutes of math every single day without the daily reminding? Again, with the reminding, kids can be made to do anything, right? The question is, how are they going to willingly do that math 10 or 15 minutes a day, 4 or 5 times a week, 10 or 15 times a month, right? How can we bring that closer? I'm not saying we're going to beat Netflix. We're just saying we want it to be in their conscious sense. If they're doing 1.5 hours screen time, why not do 15 minutes of math? And so with that objective, we set out building the Learn&Earn app, where our main focus is the child's motivation. So what we're saying is, what if we let parents set a goal where they can say, if my kid did 15 minutes of math every day for 10 days or 20 days, I'd be willing to spend $10 as a reward. And set it up as simple as that. And when kids go in, what they see is a whole bunch of rewards, stuff that they've always wanted, stuff that they've always pointed out and said, can I have this, daddy? Right? Which is a long list of stuff. Except now, anything that they've ever wanted is so many days of math. You can earn an iTunes movie rental for 5 days of math. You can earn anything from Amazon.com for 11, 10, 5, 100 days of math. Right? You want that Lego robotics set? So many days of math, right? And what we've done is, when the parent ties that goal, the child goes and picks that reward. The parent does not pick rewards. The kid has a sense that they're picking a reward that they're working towards. And what follows up is quizzes that we built into the app. We partnered with a Vancouver-based educational foundation to build in hundreds of quizzes that essentially cater and meet and exceed common co-curriculum requirements. And a child picks a quiz to work, does 15 minutes of math. At the end of that quiz, the app says, you're done for today, 6 days of math to go, right? 5 days to go, 4 days to go, 3 days to go, and on day 0, there's this elaborate, dramatic unveiling of this reward, and the parent gets an email that says, your kid just spent the last 12 days doing 180 minutes of math. These are the following skills that they worked on. This is how they performed, and please click here to, purchase that reward on Amazon or on iTunes or whatever. So that's how it is as far as the kids are concerned. So this is already built out. It's been launched for a couple of months. It's on iTunes. Is that for 5 or for 4?
It was here for 5.
Oh, okay.
It's time for
Questions.
That's
Put your hands up.
There you go.
Do I get to pick? Or?
Jimmy, go ahead.
So how do you monetize this?
Please
How
repeat
do
the
you make
question.
money? Are you making money off of the sales that the parents are going to accept?
No, this is a subscription-based app. So parents get to try it for a while, and when their kids close enough to their first reward, we know it's working for them. And parents pay $7 a month, or they pay $60 a year to subscribe to this app. So it's on a subscription basis. It's not free. Yes.
How are you acquiring users?
So right now, the part that's not mentioned here is that we're rolling out right now as we speak with several school districts, and we're reaching out to parents. We've also enlisted a whole bunch of local rewards. So this is, the Northwest is really our incubator in terms of the launch, and we're working with local rewards. So for example, besides Amazon and iTunes, we have the local ice cream shop. 5 days of math is a scoop of ice cream. So we have stuff like that. So we're really working on a local launch basis to reach out. And of course, we're complementing that with social media and the retail. So this is not meant to be a school by school thing. We're reaching out to parents. We're working with school districts. The main theme with the school district is, can this be the Atkins diet for math, right? And if we can prove that, then we have something. Yes, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to ask what your thoughts on the efficacy of it, extrinsic versus intrinsic motivation were.
Could you repeat the question for everybody?
Yeah, he asked what is your sense of this app in terms of intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation? I mean, the fact is that if you're intrinsically motivated, you need nothing, right? You just need a pen and a piece of paper, and then you're there, right? And but the reality is that it's like if you're intrinsically motivated, you're going to run 10 miles, for 10 clicks every day. But the reality is that most of us are not like that. And the other thing is that even kids that are bright, right? I mean, a kid might be gifted at math, but if they're willing to put in that extra 15 or 20 minutes a day, they are going to actually improve, right? And the science actually, there is the research to prove that. So this is for everyone. I mean, it's for people that are good at math, but could be doing more. If you're intrinsically motivated, but you're not disciplined, it still doesn't add up. That's the point. Yes?
So actually I have 2 questions. So after you had this idea, how much time did you obsess over it before implementing it? And how did you validate your idea?
Well, I still obsess over it, so
Yeah.
I'm not done obsessing with it.
Before you took the first concrete step towards implementing it.
I need a drink before I answer a question like that.
But my second question is, how did you go about validating your idea? Did you make a proof of concept first?
Well, I think empirically speaking, parents that we spoke with love the idea. So the first time you pitch this to a kid, they love the idea. And I think a lot of parents relate to the idea. The only pushback is, like you said, is that the right way to motivate? And our perspective is always that, again, we're not saying that this is a prescription for life. A lot of times we're stuck with an inertia problem, right? So it's, how do you get started? How do you get up and running? If this can be a habit, then you're intrinsically motivated. You don't need the app anymore. Yes.
Last question.
How are you and/or your team developing content for the kids on the site, and do you have education professionals helping you with it?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great question. So we're partnered with a educational foundation in Vancouver that built out the math content over the last 2 years. So it's been a long process. So they're the educational partner in that, and we're also, as we speak, working on a reading app that's going to have that 15 minutes of reading, 15 or 20 minutes of reading, except you'll be able to pick a book of your choice and read it, and we'll make sure that you do. So,
Thank you very much.